Hey everybody, welcome to the Double Stuff Podcast. We are double the hosts, double the topics, and double the fun. I'm Sarah.
I'm Charity.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Dan.
Well, we're already starting off with the giggles. We haven't even done anything yet.
It's because I blinked out right before we went action.
What are we
That's
doing?
why. So, congratulations, guys. Like we said before, this is our 3rd year anniversary series.
Woohoo.
So we're revisiting episodes where we weren't all together before, but we're all together now. And of course, we are doubling the topics and of course doubling the hosts. So I'm going to host the first one, and I picked Alan to be my secondary host.
I'll accept.
I know, should you choose to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've picked one now, and the first episode, or first topic is, your dream house.
Oh.
And this is from episode 97, Shopping Cart Navigation. And we talked about this a long time ago, so let's revisit the topic of our dream house.
I think that a dream house for me, I'm not looking for an infinity pool. I'm not looking for a cliffside view. I'm looking for practicality because that's just the state that I'm in right now in my life. But I like to go to those places. Those places are awesome to spend a week.
I really like a big extravagant bathroom.
Okay.
Like I want the big mirror, lots of lighting. I love a big walk-in shower. I don't want the tub and the curtain hitting me in the legs. Like I want space. You've seen those showers where it's almost like a rainforest. Like I want that experience, you know.
We have like jets on all sides.
Yeah,
and stuff.
like I think that's just fantastic.
Just
and
go in and spin around and then you're done.
I want the big impractical rich person's house, and I plan on getting that one day, and I'm not ashamed about it.
Oh,
no.
We are 100% expecting that.
In my head, I'm just like maintenance on the pool.
No, you get people for that. I'm creating jobs.
Yeah.
Maid service and pool boys, a cute pool boy that I can walk and sit on my deck chair and be like, oh yes, look at that handsome man right there.
So I always got to give it up to Charity for providing jobs for the good old hunky.
Yeah, how's that going?
I do it for the community. I think my only change, maybe this time around, I can have 2.
Oh,
Two pool boys.
A real job creator over here.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that one for you, one for me, or are they both for you?
Well, one for each pool, I guess. I mean,
okay.
I can have a third one.
Oh, wow.
A third pool?
Yeah, a third pool and a third pool boy just for Sarah. That's Sarah's pool boy. The other 2 are mine.
Oh, okay. because we're sisters and we share everything.
Oh, my.
It's so terrible.
Wow. I'd watch it.
Of course you would. So has our views changed about what we want our beautiful houses to be when we grow up?
Sure.
Really? For you?
Well, okay. So since the recording of that episode, there's been several repairs that I've been needing to get to. So yeah, I'd like to. Not only that, but there's a chip manufacturer that's coming into Bel Air. There's a shortage of houses in Wichita. Just period. My property tax has gone up, but that's only because the assessed value of my home has skyrocketed. So
you know we're talking about dream houses, right?
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Alan's still thinking the practical one, though.
Oh, okay, that's
Here's
true.
the thing. If there's, and there is a limit, I have a number in my head if my home ever reaches a certain value. And if that happens, I will sell and go on into another home.
Okay.
But just the thought of that is kind of sad because, I mean, I love this home for the past 5 years, or at least the home that my daughters have a lot of memories. It would be this home. And so for them, this is probably their child home, only because I have very little memory of our first home. I'm speaking of my siblings and my parents, our first home that we had. I have a lot more memories of the second home that we moved into. So I don't know. I kind of want to hang on to this one.
So you probably wouldn't move until the girls,
Like
graduate,
graduated.
And because that way they've had their childhood home, and then you can feel. Like
I
you
think
can
so.
move
Not
around.
only that, but I think that it has the endurance to go a lot longer than just the next 4-6 years.
A place for their grandchildren to
Well,
come over.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only thing is, it is not a good place for the grandparents. It's got a very
that's true.
steep stairwell into the basement with
That's
narrow
true.
walls. It's very dark. So
Isn't there another entry through that basement though, or did I make that up?
No, there's only
Nope.
one
Okay.
entrance down and up.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay.
once you're in the basement, you're stuck. If something happens.
You need to get one of those
Yeah.
stair lift things installed.
Yeah, I mean they have the windows
Yeah.
that you can crawl out, the little crawl space
But I
windows.
don't know
turn
if
into a
Grandpa
horror
Allen wants to go through a window.
Yeah, yeah.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Just get to the window. Might as well say climb Everest. That wouldn't happen
I don't
either.
understand.
Yeah,
Now,
but yeah.
I mean, you can have two. I mean, listen, this is hypothetical, so maybe that could be your lived-in home in
Yeah.
Bel Air, and then you can go to some other.
Oh, a summer home.
Oh, a summer,
Yeah.
a summer home,
like a lake
someplace.
cabin or
Yeah.
mountain cabin.
I
or-
can see you having one of those because you like to fish and do
Yeah.
all that campy stuff or
Yeah.
camping stuff.
Camping, yeah, camp. That's a whole other.
And I will
different
say
thing.
that I'd rather invest in like a second like home than I would like an RV or some sort of fifth
Oh, yeah.
wheel or something like that. And I know a lot of people really like to travel in comfort with RVs and fifth wheels, but
That's
I
A
don't-
lot of maintenance
Yeah.
and gas and
it's too much. Too much for me.
Now I will say I'll go ahead and throw this over to Dan because Dan was not in the episode
Oh, yeah.
that we talked
right.
about.
Get after it, Dan.
So yeah, so if money was no object,
Yeah.
dream home.
Probably something fairly modest. Lots of windows though, and
Natural
on
light.
the ocean.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh,
okay.
yeah.
Something like right there. I know there's a lot of maintenance that goes into that.
No,
with,
that's why you
having things
hire
up.
Yeah,
a
remember-
pool boy and
But yeah,
Or
but not
Lawrence guy.
and not even like not like tropical ocean, like Pacific Northwest. Something real moody, gray,
Oh,
lots of
okay.
waves.
Oh.
Yeah.
something really
cold
cool.
water.
Cold water.
wind.
Yeah,
I wanna
like that
come
stuff.
visit.
Oh, that's
I like
that's
that.
that's very Hemingway of you. While I was sitting there, you know, the old man in the sea, and
Yep.
we just
it
see Dan,
fits him though. It fits Dan very well. I can definitely see that.
the old Dan in the sea.
That's right. And you had the basement only has one stair. This would be like one road that's like very impassable,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that way it's just me out there. Well, me and
Oh, so
Sally.
So you want your
like
own like
Hermit.
private island.
yeah,
just
basically
you
out
and
exactly.
Sally in
And
the
then
middle of the
somebody
ocean.
like rings the doorbell. It's like, what fresh hell is this?
Yeah. Exactly.
No one knows where I live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that does sound pretty serene. So you would just you would not necessarily cut yourself off from everybody,
No.
but it's just kind of nice to just have your own.
He
like,
has a select few he will allow
Yeah.
to his
That's
private
true.
island.
The Fortress of Solitude, the sanctuary, as it were.
he's really living up to that introverted test that we did
That's
before.
right.
He's
exactly right.
he's like I'm gonna have this here and here, no trespassing.
Actually, there was a place. It's not like on the ocean or anything, but I read about this place in Washington State, and it's a small part of the state that is inaccessible unless you take a boat from like the main like land across
Oh.
the Seattle Sound, or I don't remember what it's called exactly.
Oh, Puget Sound?
Maybe Puget Sound, something like that. Because what it is it's a small piece that hangs down from Canada. So
Oh,
like the
interesting.
only land access to it is Canada. There was like houses that were for sale there, and we went and looked. We went online and looked at one, and I was looking at it, and it was basically the backyard was like a small backyard, a row of trees, and that row of trees was the Canadian border.
Oh wow!
So it's like a very hard place to get to. So I guess they're having a
Wow.
hard time out there. That's why there was like a bunch of houses and stuff for sale. But I was just like, yes.
I feel like
please.
that would be a really expensive place to live, is where the house is really high.
They
don't know.
weren't, but
That's-
because the place was kind of dying. Because like I
Oh,
said, you
okay.
couldn't get. I mean, it was
Okay.
hard to get, especially it was because of COVID. So it was hard to get
Right,
anything
okay.
out there
Yeah.
unless it was like an airplane strip
Oh,
or
so
like,
you had to go by
a long
like
boat ride.
airplane or helicopter.
Basically,
or something.
yeah. So, but it was really interesting. It was Edwards Saint Ed Saint something. I don't know.
Saint
It was
Ed.
something Prince something. It was something like that. It was like it wasn't even really an island. It was like a peninsula, but it was just really fascinating.
Oh, wow. I was gonna say Prince Edward Island, but I don't know if that's.
Nah,
I
that's
don't think
something
that was
different.
it.
It's like the name. It's in my mind, but that's not it. So.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah,
I
I
gotta
think
look it
that
up.
would fit. I don't know if I want to be fully secluded. I mean, I don't mind having like a little bit of privacy for sure, but I don't know if I want to be under the bulrushes and the trees and
Yeah.
all that, because I do want to have a little bit of access. You
Oh yeah,
know?
me too. It'd be more like a small Stephen King type town. You know, that kind of thing, right?
She
Something
can
real
write here.
creepy.
Erie, Indiana.
Yeah, exactly. You're Indiana.
We're from Indiana. At least where we were at didn't look that creepy. But then again, I know you wanted to get back to your writings. I guess that's the perfect inspiration point.
That's
for you.
it. There
Like I said, it's very
Yeah.
Hemingway. He's going to sit there.
Sounds like the perfect place for a murder.
Oh
Murder
yeah,
mystery.
yeah, for like a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully in writing. We don't want to be.
Yeah, no real murders, please.
If you see
You
Angela,
need inspiration.
if you see Angela Lansbury start taking up residence there, it's like I think it's time to move. What about you, Cherry? Kind of revisiting. I know you were talking about the pools, but other amenities. I guess.
So, okay, funny enough, I think this was like 2-3 weeks ago. I was just scrolling through my phone on Instagram, and I found these pictures of multi-million-dollar apartments in London that have like a nice view of
Ooh.
all the typical things that you see
Yeah.
on the London picture, you know, all of that. And it's like, it was something like 15 million a month or so. It was something outrageous, and I was like, "Ooh, I want this."
15 million a month.
It's like it's huge.
It's
like it's
ridiculous.
not like a tiny apartment. Like it's
It's like the floor of a
huge,
building.
like
Yeah,
big
it's-
square feet, like fancy
Seems-
bathrooms,
Yeah.
and
Crazy.
yeah,
I was like, by the time we do that, why do an apartment? We can do like a
We have to
house.
convert
or-
it though. It's probably pounds, right?
Oh, it probably is
So it's
pounds.
I don't know what it
It's like
is.
what, $14 million.
Huh.
Yeah, okay, so just knock off the
It
million.
would
It's
still
fine.
be in the millions. Versus be like $29.95 in American dollars.
Yeah, but it came with like a bunch of other stuff too. But I was just like, okay, now I have to be rich because
Yeah.
I want that. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, I think I still want to be rich. I guess is the bottom line of what I want in my life.
In this field, you have to. It pays to be wealthy because to be in this field, be in the media, even the cheap equipment is a bit costly.
Yeah.
You know, so even if you want to get the good stuff, the top of the line, you do have to pay a pretty penny for it. Even if you get it at what they consider discounted prices and all that.
Hey, somebody has to be a billionaire. It might as well be me.
Yeah, might as well be me. We'll be the sister. We'll be the sister billionaires.
I guess I need to revise my answer, and I'd like to. My dream would be something affordable that I can actually buy.
If you're a billionaire, you can
Yeah,
afford it.
Yeah, affordable is subjective depending on how much money you make. So yeah, you too can buy your secluded home in the Washington Canada border, for the low price of however many $1,000 million.
Be like, I'll give you $5. Lowballing them.
That'll get like one tree in it. One tree on the left. Yeah, I think, but me and Charity kind of have similar taste, I think, and kind of how we like stuff. Now, I do like the history of a lot of houses. Now, as much as I love historic houses, I don't want a historic house because that brings in historic house problems.
Ghosts.
Well, I was
You get
thinking
those
more.
Victorian podcasting goes.
Gotta have Ghostbusters on standby.
I was thinking more like maintenance, but yeah, you do want to make sure that it's
The old podcast on the old phonograph.
that's
with-
true.
With Alan.
Oh,
Victorian
yeah.
laugh.
If I start hearing the voice of Victorian Allen in the house, that will be a problem. But I want to have a really, really nice modern house, but it's going to be full of like vintage stuff, antiques and whatnot. So I've been wanting to go to antique stores and secondhand stores for a long time, but I just don't have the money and the space for it. So I'm like, I'll wait till I get my perfect house with however many stories and mantle shelves and all, and then I'll get that.
Breaking down, though.
Well,
I feel like antique has its own, like, it's either antique because it's good or it's antique because it's falling apart. Oh, it's rustic.
Yeah.
This table's supposed to have a missing leg. It's supposed to wobble. It's antique.
It's distressed.
It has to be approved by Antiques Roadshow, and then
okay.
and then I'll get it. So
I'm looking for a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
we've dealt with fixer-uppers. I want it completely fixed, fixed it up. But I thought it's always kind of cool to at least dream about that.
That's true.
And I'm hoping, I know me and Cherry are hoping for that to be a reality. That way, it's not just, I would like in the sweet by and by to have this. So kind of like what I said in the other episode. Well, we can revisit this after our ship comes in.
Okay.
And our,
You guys can visit me in London in my
Sure.
$15 million home.
and her $15 million flat.
That's right.
You'll be like, wow, and then be like, oh, you come in through
Told
the
you
servants
so.
entrance.
Yeah.
You're talking about old homes. Another one that would just be cool is something like in the Victorian style, like an old Adams family style home, or like
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
if you've seen
Yeah.
Lock and Key on Netflix, like that.
Oh,
old,
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's those like old kind of houses with like spires and parapets and whatever you call them.
I love a spiral
So cool.
staircase. I want a spiral staircase. I want pillars in my house. So maybe I could build it in the style of. But I don't know if I actually want to get like this was built in 1890. You know,
Just make it look that way.
yeah. So for historical reasons, I'm a contradiction. But yeah, I would totally do a Victorian house. Okay, so it's Alan's turn. He's going to be my secondary host.
Okay, very good. Let's see what the topic shall be. Board/card games. This was taken from episode 64. Holy smokes, that's bananas. That rings a bell. Let's take a listen. Do you guys do board games? Do you guys do game nights?
When we were kids, we played a lot of board games. I don't do it as much as an adult, and maybe just because I don't have enough friends to play it with. You know, we used to play Monopoly and Scrabble, Chutes and Ladders, Sorry.
Sorry's still fun. That's a go-to game. But it's
You lose some friends over that game, but it's a fun game.
You lose friends over like Monopoly
Back
and
to
all
the
those
beginning.
things, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think we got really good at playing Uno because that seemed to be the only card game.
Uno's another game where you can lose some friends, especially if you play stacks rules.
Oh,
and
I forgot
like
about-
someone
yeah.
puts down a draw 4, and then your person next to you puts down a draw 4, which means
Yeah.
the third person has to draw
or
8
they have to pick
whatever.
up 2, or you know,
there's different rules. This is the other thing about Uno is that everyone's got their own set of rules.
Yes.
And I've seen people comment on like the Uno Twitter page or Instagram page or whatever, and then Uno's like, actually, the rules state blah blah blah, and people are arguing with Uno, saying you don't know the rules. You gotta play. It's like, how you gonna argue with the very own game like you don't know how to play?
Have you guys ever created your own board game or card
That's
game
a
before?
great question. Yes, I have.
Ooh.
It's called Holy Smokes, That's Bananas. It's about you're a wrestler, like a professional wrestler.
A wrestling
and
card
the,
game.
The game takes place around an arena. It's a lot of fun.
So you need to
I was like,
box this up and sell it,
we
man.
need to have a double stuff game night.
Hey guys, you know what? I think it still holds up. I think that game would still hold up.
Have you proceeded more with that game since the last time we talked?
Not a bit. Not a bit. But you know what? In my head, it's still magnificent and full of bravado.
No one else can play if it's in your head, man.
Yeah. You need to make it a reality now.
In my head, we're having a great time with this
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, maybe one day when you invite me over to your $15 million flat, I can afford the time
Okay, wow.
to,
Okay, challenge accepted then. I got to get
to
it.
invent the game.
You can finally afford a graphic designer to make
Yeah.
the cards for the game. That's what it is. So
So
go
Dan,
ahead.
you weren't here for that particular recording.
No, I'm not, but I'm kind of in the same boat where like I have this idea and I fleshed it out to an extent, and then it's kind of just has languished there.
Oh, what was your
untouched.
idea?
So I have an idea for like I want to say action adventure. That's such a vague term. Think of like an archaeological adventure, like an Indiana Jones or Tomb Raider or something like that
okay.
style game. That's in the kind of basis of like a different board game called the Haunting of Hill House, I think is what it's called.
Okay,
Betrayal
yeah.
at Hill House, I think is what it actually is. So it's like you unveil, like you move through a tomb or a crypt or whatever, and then you randomly unveil rooms, and each room has either enemies to fight or puzzles to solve, and you have to use like dice rolls and skill-based stuff in order to accomplish those things.
It sounds like a video game.
It does sound like a video game.
Like,
Kind of like that,
a
yeah.
board game.
Yeah, like a board
Yeah.
game version of some kind of like video
Yeah.
game or something. So,
That
so I
actually
have it
sounds
all
quite
up.
interesting.
I took a deck of playing cards is what I did. A couple decks of them actually because I needed a bunch of cards, and then I plotted everything out, and then I wrote on the playing card like this room would have this type of puzzle for, and it would be like this many points, and the thing would be collecting treasure. It'd be like a cooperative and a competitive type game, and you'd be trying to collect treasure throughout it, and you move your way down to like the more
I wanna
the better
play it.
treasures.
Yeah,
So-
that sounds like
but I had it all
fun.
laid out, and I
Yeah,
play tested
you
it once
started
before and everything
making
like
it.
that, and then I have to print stuff out, and I have to like do all this logistical stuff that's just kind of got in the way of it. So.
Oh yeah, no, both of you guys got some. Actually, you need to join forces and call it like "Holy smokes, that's an adventure," where it's a wrestler that goes on an adventure and tries to get treasure before the opponent, pounds him on the canvas or something like that.
Yeah.
So I need to get my $15 million place in London, and then you guys need to combine forces
Yeah.
and make
I said
the
unlimited
ultimate
time.
board game.
Yeah, it'd be done already.
I know. That's
Unlimited
just the
money and
case.
time.
I mean, a summer project maybe.
No, it could be. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's it's all added to the list of all the other creative
Of all the other
projects
stuff.
that I'm in the process of. So
Sure.
I love board games though. I have a lot of fun playing them.
I think so too. How about you guys? Have you discovered any new or rediscovered old favorites
I actually
since the recording?
rediscovered one about 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So it's a game called Pit. I don't know if you guys. It's a card game.
Huh.
And I had forgotten about this game. I played it when I was in college with a few crew members. It was a lot of fun. The game gets really loud, which is why we didn't play it a lot because we were disrupting people. But it's called Pit. I think it's based off like a medieval game of like selling. It's like selling stocks, but you sell it like as wheat and barley and flaxseed and all that kind of stuff. And you're supposed to have. I'm trying to remember. I think you're supposed to have like 8 of the same type, so like 8 cards that says barley or wheat. So you're supposed to have like 8 or 9 of the same thing, and so you're each given like a huge handful of cards, and so we go to each person like 3. Anybody want 3 cards, and then someone gives you 3. They're just unnamed, and so hopefully basically it's almost like you're trying to get all of the same. You're trying to get a match set.
Okay.
And then they have these wild cards, like one is like a bear and I think one is like a wolf or something, and a bear is a bad card, so you have to try to get rid of that one as much as possible.
I hate games with so many instructions. This would take me like weeks to figure out how to play.
Well, yeah, you don't want a bear market. I think that's a stock term.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a stock term. Yeah.
But
Bear and bull.
A bear. You want the bull market.
I think it was a bear and a bull.
That would make sense for
Thank
stock
you.
stuff then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of works in that aspect. But I had forgotten. I played that in college, and then when I went on a school trip a few weeks ago, and they played that game, and I had completely forgotten about it. And I caught on after like the first round. I was like, okay, I remember how it goes now, and it was a lot of fun.
And it's called Pit.
It's called Pit, and I don't know if they still make the game anymore because the cards that we had looked like it definitely came out of the 1970s. It definitely had that like it's been around for 50 plus years. But it was a fun interactive game.
Okay.
And it looks like you can have. I'm not sure what the main number of people, but I would say at least 4 to 6 players, I think.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. I feel like it was something that it seemed like a game that we would probably get into had I had the cards. But
Sure.
that was a nice revisiting game for me.
Okay.
So yeah.
How about you, Charity?
Okay, so when my friends were still in town, we would get together, do pizza night, board game night, that sort of thing. One game we did play was What Do You Meme? And so it's basically apples to apples, but with a meme. And so one person draws a card and there's like a topic and you have a bunch of different memes, in your hand, and then you put them down, and then whichever person picks, or whoever picks like your card or the other person's card, you get those cards and those points. So that was a really fun one. And I like apples to apples. Those type of games are really simple. It's like 3 instructions and then you start playing.
Yeah.
I prefer that sort of thing versus like, okay, you got to do this and this and this, because then I just get lost in all the instructions.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you're right. It really sets a mood for the group play too.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have to set through like a 15 to 20 minute tutorial before you start to play, or if you're gonna,
especially
I get that.
if you have a big group, because everybody's got different levels and different attention spans, and if you got like 5 people who are like, just play the game, then the other half are really into it,
Right.
Well, what helped
you start
me,
fighting.
If you have a good person on your team that's actually a good teacher, you actually kind of play the game like a trial run, and then you're like, okay,
of course,
on this,
yeah.
versus just someone just spitting out a bunch of words. And you're like, okay, I have no clue.
The
what that
problem
means.
is that never happens. or like you'll have 3 people who are just masters at the game, and they all try to start explaining it at once because they all think that they know this game perfectly, and so then you just have 3 people coming at you with instructions. And it's hard to keep
with
up.
the experience.
Yeah.
You all would hate the games that I like to play. Because like my friends and I were trying to play Gloomhaven, and it was like, here you go. This is a 50-minute YouTube tutorial that you
Yeah.
need to
Oh,
watch
man.
before
Gosh,
playing.
absolutely not.
Oh,
Absolutely
man.
not. No.
I feel like
I can't handle it.
I don't know. I think I would have the patience for it, but I don't think I'll be too good. I'll have to play it like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that 50
By the
minute
time I
tutorial
watch
like
the
3
video,
times.
I don't want to play. Like, game over. You already took my game.
No, it's so fun.
Well, the
brain
great
power.
news is to listen to this podcast, you can always just jump right in. You do not need any instruction, and except for the
true.
fact that Sarah's going to tell you where you can listen to more of
Yeah.
these
This
episodes.
was all just a game, guys. This ain't even a podcast.
I win.
10,000 points for Alan for speaking. So yeah, guys, listen to all of our episodes. We have over 150 at this point to listen to. Just check us out on doublestuffpod.com. Of course, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Double Stuff Podcast, and of course on Twitter at DoubleStuffP, and that's the letter P.